Test, test. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Mini ZADuro brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim. I'll be the commentator and broadcaster for tonight's stream. This is my first time broadcasting for the Zealous Racing League, so please go easy on me. I hope that I can do a good job, that I can do this league justice for how great it is, and hopefully we can witness some wonderful racing today. We did have some technical difficulties getting the stream up and running today, but that should all be behind us now. I did have some custom graphics that I was going to use. That is no longer going to happen because those were saved on my other account with Streamlabs. So we're just going to be using what I have here for the team's streaming rig, and that should work pretty well. So hopefully everything goes well, and hopefully the stream will stay nice and stable for everyone here. But I'm really excited to bring you this race today. We've got 2 hours of racing here at the beautiful, historic Silverstone Raceway in England. Um, this is, like I said, the first ever endurance race type event that Zealous has done. Usually, Zealous Racing League, we have done sprint races. We just reached into the multi-class racing last season in season 7 of our league. So this is our first time trying out, again, something new with endurance racing. So we're just dipping our toes into that with 2 hours. This should leave us just enough time to get some very interesting strategy for the teams. It should give us a taste on, how endurance racing works, and it should give some of our racers a better taste of those strategies that will be needed to succeed in endurance racing. Because strategy plays a lot bigger role, I feel like, in endurance racing compared to, let's say, sprint racing. So if you got a 30-minute race, you just top off your fuel as much as you can, and you go as fast as you can for those 30 minutes. Um, Obviously, we still want to go as fast as we possibly can in this endurance race environment, but you have to worry about tire degradation a lot more. You have to worry about fuel. With this being a 2-hour race, our teams will need to refuel. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all of the teams combat that tire wear and that the fuel consumption here at Silverstone for this race. But I think it should lead to some great racing. Like I said, really excited to be here. We've got so far 15 cars on the track. How we're doing our qualifying is we've actually already done qualifying for the race. So what we are going to be doing here is just having our uh, we're just having our teams line up in the order that they already qualified in. So we had a whole week of qualifying before this, where they could go into a server, try to have the fastest lap that they possibly could, and now that we are yeah, I know we're on the starting screen, Slim. Sorry. This is the best screen I think I have for just giving information. Um, but now that the teams had the whole week, um, 7 days to do qualifying, fastest time from either of the drivers on their team, if they have two drivers. We're doing one or two driver teams, um, and that should um, that would determine what the order of the teams would be. We also had some people come into the race or come uh, into this endurance event a little bit late, didn't get to qualify. Those folks will start at the back of the grid, and I'm actually going to move it too. They're about to start the grid here. Better get them up here so we can see the race, see how it's going to turn out here. Um, if if they weren't able to qualify, they'll be starting at the back of the grid, and they're in the order which they uh, joined um, the the race. They're in the order at which they signed up. So if you signed up first and didn't qualify, you're going to be the person that's kind of the first of the last. So we'll see how that turns out. We may have some very fast racers in the back, and I actually know for a fact one of the racers on the grid here, that's the hacker. His name is Twatsvana Hacker, I think is how it's pronounced. He is an absolutely rapid racer. Raced with him last season in season 7 of the Zealous Racing League in the GT4 class, and he was absolutely rapid in that. So I expect him and his teammate to be pretty quick today in that what it looks to be a Ferrari. So we'll get a little bit of a helicam here, just following up over, seeing the racers from above. As they have 3 more minutes to till the session starts to get any last setup changes together and any last tire pressures and everything together. With this being a 2-hour race, I'm going to try to commentate as much as I possibly can, but I honestly don't think my voice is going to be able to take this. So I will be probably taking some breaks in the kind of more, I won't say boring parts of the race, but I think all of us who are into sim racing know that there gets to be a point after the start where everything kind of starts to settle down. And in that time, I might go take a break or two, try to maybe refresh on my water so I can keep my voice going the whole time, and then I'll be able to come back hopefully for the real action points. What I'm looking for here is, pit stops. I'm looking for the end of the race, the start of the race. That's what I'm really going to be targeting. Like I said, um, it's going to be a really fun race. This is my first time, so go easy on me, guys. But yeah, this should be really fun. I'm really interested to see how this turns out. I hope that there's a lot of clean racing, especially here right at the beginning. We all know how turn 1 can be. And Silverstone turn 1 isn't nearly as bad as, well, Monza or maybe a lot of other tracks. But I personally have found a lot of struggles with cops in my time racing at Silverstone. Cops is kind of a high speed, mid speed turn there. It's that first turn here on the layout for the GT cars. And for some reason, I find it hard to get into this turn and get that right speed, hit that apex. And I'm wondering if that's going to be the same for some of these racers. I'm sure a lot of these guys are better than me at racing. That's why I'm here in the commentating box. But we'll see how that goes. I think the inside line is going to have a little bit of an advantage here for this race. Um, so we'll have to see how it goes up through Cops and into Maggot and Beckett's. But I think this first lap is going to be fairly crucial to, this beginning part of the race. But with that being said, with it being a 2-hour race, you know, a lot can happen within 2 hours. A pit stop could go wrong. Penalties on track for going, off track or maybe speeding in the pits. That's one we're going to have to watch out for because there will be pit stops in this race. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. Really interested to see how each team reacts to the hand that is given them, and Yeah. So we got 1 second left here. All the cars are going to be starting. Engines are turning on. It's a good thing too, because it looks like everyone was able to start up their car in time for the start of the race. As we go out for our full formation lap here, we got Rivera starting in the lead here in the Porsche. Great car if you can drive it right. I know I can't. So the starting grid today is going to be Riviera in the Porsche. Starting in P1, we've got Ivan McCroat. Starting in P2 with the BMW M4 GT3. Got Kevin Racine there in the beautiful McLaren 720S. Got to see one of those in real life the other day, the road car. Absolutely stunning car. My wife commented on how it's a bit thick of a car. And these cars are a bit thick, you know. They're quite wide cars. They maybe don't look it, but they do take up quite a bit of space on the track. In P4, we've got Nunez. I've raced with Nunez before. Looks like Nunez is racing with JJ Burr. They have both raced in previous Zealous sessions. So good to see some racers that are familiar with Zealous Racing League up there in P4. Racing in the Audi. It's a great car. I'm not sure if that's the new one or the old one. I'm going to guess that is the new one if I can get a closer look at that car. Yeah, looks like it is the new one. Beautiful car. Beautiful car. I enjoy racing the Audi quite a bit, myself personally. Then we got Kevin Braun in the Aston Martin, starting in P5. Got Jared Skinner in the Lexus. Good to see the Lexus so far up in the grid. You know, looking at this grid, we've got quite a bit of variation within the grid here in terms of car choice. We've got a couple of McLarens and Audis, but other than that, most of the grid has quite different cars from each other, so that's really cool to see. In P7, we got Rocky Rocco in the McLaren as well. Starting in P8, we got Jeff Collins in the Bentley. In P9, Matt Fender, a previous Zealous Racing League season runner. There he is starting in P9 after setting a perfect 2-minute lap and then deciding that he just wanted to keep it because it was on the perfect 2 minutes. So good on him to stick true to that. Then we got Flores starting in P10 in the Audi as well. Starting in P11, we got JP Belanger. I'm gonna make sure to get these names right. Belanger, starting again in that McLaren 720S. In 12th, we've got Ed Kersetter. I believe Kersetter's been a part of the league for a while. I don't know if I've personally raced with Kersetter, but good to see him in there. Another Lexus on the grid, Luis Colon, starting P13 in that Lexus. P14, we've got Brian Canapan, starting in the Lamborghini, starting P14, and then Felix Tatsvinwa Hacker. Tazvinwa Hacker. Gonna make sure to get his name right, but he is starting. Here we go, the start of the race here. Martin gets a good line into Cops there. Gonna make sure to follow this here. Bear with me while I get the right thing. Okay, got going into the back straight here. Make sure to get everything correct here. Sorry, bear with me here while I make sure to figure all this out. A great start for Marzan in the Porsche there, getting a commanding lead. Looks like I'm having a bit of technical difficulties with this though. Looks like I'm not in the right broadcasting setting. But Marzan still in the lead here, gaining a substantial lead over P2. Looks to be over a second already in the first lap. Got quite some good racing here in the back as well between the P2 and P3 of McCroat and Racine. Battling out here, trying to get that track position right off the beginning. Looks like Racine gets a good run into this straight here, coming out of Arena. I don't think he's got the speed to break in front of the M4. Oh, but he keeps the inside line. He's cutting it a bit close, though. Wonder if he's going to get a track limit warning for that. Good racing, though. Clean racing. Looks like he's got ahead. Racine now in P2, ahead of McCroat in that BMW. Great racing by Racine and McCroat there to keep it clean. Meanwhile, Marzan is just taking quite a big chunk out of the P2 and P3 already in that first lap of the race. Can't even believe it. He is absolutely rapid in that Porsche. And well, it's the first lap, so can't really set fastest lap, but I imagine he's going to be setting the fastest laps here shortly. Meanwhile, back here we've got Jared Skinner and Kevin Braun here battling out the Lexus versus the Aston Martin. Looks like we got quite a bit of tussle. Looks like Braun goes a little bit long, side by side going into the chicane here. Looks like the Aston just broke a little bit later, gets a little bit better of a apex there, but Lexus holds the inside and gets the better of the Aston Martin there, going into the F1 straight here, the start-finish line for Formula One. That was quite a that move did not go well for Braun there. He's moved all the way back, it looks like, into P10, it almost seems like. Because, yeah, he moved back into P10 because here Rocco and Hacker battling out for P8 and P9. Hacker already moved into P8 here. Going really well so far. Press escape. Click drive. There we go. Thank you, KP, for helping me out with the broadcasting here. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so getting used to everything. Now this is a much better view of everything here. Everything appears to be back in order. Hacker making a absolutely rapid charge up the pack. Started in the back. I told you he's fast, everyone. I really did. He is really charging through the field here, making quick work of everyone, trying to get back up to the lead. Let's see how long it takes him to get up there to Marzan there. Taking a look at the leader, still has a commanding lead. Looks to be still about 2 seconds or so ahead of the next driver. As we go back, let's take a look here. Let's take a look here at some of the other racers here. Kevin Racine keeping in P2. McCroat staying in P3 now after losing P2 to Racine. JJ Burr holding on to 4th place. Looks like 4th place and up are really breaking away from the pack behind. Jared Skinner in the Lexus still in P5. Hacker moving up. Collins moving down into, I think it might be I think he might actually be in P8 now, because I believe that is Kerstetter now. If I'm not mistaken, Kerstetter is in P6. Yeah, made the move on Collins there. This is going to be some good racing, I think, here from Kerstetter and Hacker as they charge their way up the pack. But it looks like the top 5 here are really just pulling away from the rest of the drivers. Doing great work out here, coming into the start-finish straight here. Martin holding on to the fastest lap as he just ran a 1:59.19. Hacker last lap didn't seem to have a good one, a 2:01.8. Racine's lapping at about 2 minutes exactly here, and same with JJ Burr actually closing in on a McCroat here in that Audi. Let's take a look at this racing here between Burr and McCroat, see if he can catch up going into the mid-speed right-hander there into the chicane. Let's see how much ground he's going to gain. Looks like he's making some good work of McCroat in the braking zones there. But McCroat able to stay ahead. But he is catching. Looks like Hacker and Kerstetter behind are also catching on them as well. We'll come back to these guys in a second. Let's take a look at the back of the pack here. We got Flores in the back of the pack in that Audi. Got Brian in that Lamborghini. Belanger in the McLaren 720S. Looks like these guys are kind of holding steady here. Actually, it looks like Brian Canapan has taken 13th place from the McLaren of Bellinger, and is hoping to then move up to P12, where Skinner is in the Lexus. Skinner of Rockefeller Racing. Rockefeller has, I believe, 2 teams. Yep, Rockefeller Racing in the McLaren and Rockefeller Racing in the Lexus. Both of them are holding P11 and P12 right now. Bet they're going to be playing nice and trying to help each other out as much as possible throughout this 2-hour-long race. Going into the 9th minute here. Looks like Hacker has set the fastest lap this last lap and is really close to Burr. Hacker last lap set a 1:58.49. Martin has yet to respond in any lap that he's seen. Hacker is really just incredibly rapid. Like I said, I've raced with Hacker before in a previous series, and I mean, I'm no fast racer, so I can't really stand any chance against Hacker, even in GT4 cars, but he was a whole 2 seconds at least faster than me, and it looks like he's ready to pull a move on Burr here. Really confident into the braking zone of Arena here, coming into the Arena section. Ooh, a little bit of contact between him and Burr. Ooh, keep it clean, guys. But looks like he just pulls out ahead there. Oh, it's getting close, getting tight. Really muscling out the elbows there. Canapan has a 10-second penalty, it looks like there. Probably for track limits, I would imagine. That is not good to have so early in the race. But maybe we'll see if things even out in the end. I'm gonna be taking some notes here shortly once I'm able to get a little bit of a break here, but going to be following in on Hacker here as he really just makes a brilliant charge up the field. Hacker has a 10-second penalty now, it looks like, maybe for contact, I would imagine. Maybe contact between him and Burr, I have no idea, but that's not going to be boding well for him. Ooh, I would imagine that that's going to be because of the contact. So, hate to see that. Oh, I hate to see that, but I would imagine that if Hacker can really muscle his way up the field here in this first stint, hopefully his teammate can do well in the latter half of this race. Really taking quite a tight line as he passes McCroat there to take P3. So Hacker with the 10-second penalty moves up into P3 in front of McCroat and is now going to be making the charge up to Racine, who's got a substantial gap between him and McCroat, and now Hacker. But doesn't seem like Racine's lapping nearly as fast as what Hacker has been lapping these last few laps. Although Racine did just put in a 1 minute 59.8, which is only 5/10 off of the leader, Martson. I would imagine that once Hacker now gets some breathing room, he's going to really be muscling his way up the field. Look at the lead he's already got from McCroat. That's absolutely incredible to see how far up he's already gotten, and it's only been maybe half a lap. I think he's probably a half a second in the lead, maybe even a little bit more of McCroat. Let's take a look at Kiersetter here as they go around. Kiersetter is getting close to Burr and actually has made the move on Burr. Burr now sitting in P6 after starting P4. No worries there though, because there's still a lot of race left. We're past 10 minutes into the race. Looks like Fender's had an incident. Not sure what happened with him there. Looks like he may have a little bit of damage on the front bumper of that car. But not too much, maybe a little bit of scraping, that's all. I wonder if that's from Canapan. Talking about Canapan there, looks like, oh, somebody off the track there. Looks like Rocco is off the track, and that McLaren has to concede his P10 to Canapan there as they go around the straight there. Oops, Skinner getting maybe a little bit too tight there. Needs to leave Rocco some room. Rocco Skinner's teammate there. They better be playing nice. I would hate to see two teammates take each other out in this race. That would be very tragic. Not sure what happened to Braun. I believe he started up near the top of the field. So interesting to see him. A little bit further back. Braun of Extra Life Racing. Rocking that default black Aston Martin livery. I kid, obviously. Rocco getting another 10-second penalty there. I wonder if that was for the off track there. I'm not entirely sure if that was late. We've already got 3 10-second penalties, and it's only 15 minutes, well, really 14 minutes into the race. That's not going to be boding well for these teams as they go into their pit stops and go to the end of the race. I mean, ooh, car 210 there, Flores. Wonder what just happened to him. Maybe a little bit of a connection thing with me. But looked like he was almost off the track there. Let's take a look over here at car 420, McCroat and Kiersetter. Kiersetter inching in on McCroat as they go down the straight. Into that right-hander, Kiersetter gets the inside line, which is very powerful into that turn. Definitely want to be on the inside. And now he's got the advantage going into the chicane. Kiersetter's cleanly ahead of McCroat. Great move from Kiersetter there. I would imagine Kiersetter is going to be looking to gain some more places, see if he can catch back up to Hacker. Kiersetter and Hacker were lapping fairly close to each other early in the race, but Hacker the last few laps has been lapping in the 158s. Some of these guys have some serious damage, it seems like. Looks like they might be Might be getting into some wrecks, maybe bumping into each other. Can't be having that, guys. We can need a race clean in this. Getting these penalties is not going to help. Even though it is a 2-hour race, I would imagine that once we start doing the pit stops, things are going to become a lot tighter. I think another thing to note too is that I believe random weather is on, so it is possible that we could have rain, I believe. Talking to the guys that set up the server, I believe there is still a chance of rain, but right now we've got a beautiful 29 degrees Celsius day. 29 degrees on the track, I should say. 23 degrees Celsius day at Silverstone. Leads to some really great track conditions. Again, thank you everyone for tuning into this first ever Mini ZADuro by Zealous Racing League. Zealous, like I said, has never done anything enduro related before, to my knowledge. So this is really a first of a kind for the league, and it's a first time for me. So I know we had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream, but now that we got that all sorted out, I think we're really in a good situation to watch a really great race here. I want to just plug Zealous Racing League too, just for the one giving me the opportunity to do this, but also just to thank Zealous for setting up this race. These races, these events, don't just happen on their own. It takes a lot of hours. It takes a lot of time. We've got quite a great team of guys who just do this voluntarily, just do this for fun. Hacker moving into P2 there. The Zealous Racing team just does this for fun and really don't ask much in return. We do have donation links to help with servers and help with any fees for that. But other than that, this is just a self-run league, and is there for people who want to have a great league racing experience, but maybe don't want to get into the serious leagues where you may have to pay money, or maybe there are some fast racers in Zealous, but I feel like there is good racing for everyone when it comes to Zealous. I know that from the front to the middle to the back, people always have someone to race against. So Zealous is a great way to get into league racing if you're just starting out. I know that's where I got my beginning in league racing and ACC and other sim racing. But if you're interested in getting involved with Zealous, be sure to join the Discord. Discord link is linked on the YouTube page that we have here that we're streaming from. So be sure to check that out and join if you are interested in getting involved in some of the leagues that we have. I will say, and I'll plug this later in the night as well, we are going to be having a next season, Season 8 of Zealous Racing League here shortly, with the new track pack that is edging to come out here in the first week of July, where we will be running all of those new tracks as well as a few others. I'm not ready to let you guys know what the schedule is yet, but I know that the team is working on it behind the scenes, and I wanted to give you guys that information so that if you are interested, consider getting involved now, because we are going to have more information on that Season 8 here shortly. Let's take a look through the field here. It looks like some good battling in P9, 10, 11 between the two Rockefeller racing teams and Canapan, the Lamborghini. Canapan seems to be edging out over Skinner, just can't find the room. Gets a tighter line out of the hairpin there. Really cutting it close on the inside, going into the start-finish straight. inside line going into Cops. Let's see if he can make the move and make it cleanly. Oh, a little bit of contact and oh, Skinner goes. That is a bit of a dirty move there. Let's see. So Skinner was able to keep the car on the track, but I would imagine that the stewards are going to take a look at that at the end. Might be another penalty. Might be another penalty for Canapan there. Good question from Slim in the chat. When does the pit window open? I don't think there is a pit window actually for this race. No required pit stops are here. Even though you're definitely going to have to make one for fuel and probably tires as well, unless you really want to double stint these tires, which, you know, if you're in a 2-hour race with a driver swap, it doesn't really make sense to do that. Most people who are going to be doing a driver swap, they're probably just going to swap the tires anyway, just to make sure that they have the best rubber they can. But there should be no pit window, but I would imagine that teams are going to start pitting here probably within the next, I would imagine with 45 minutes into the race, so with 1 hour 15 minutes left to go, I would imagine that's when teams are going to start changing over to their next driver, if I had to guess. Skinner looks to have quite a bit of damage on that Lexus in the front. Looks like there was maybe some issues with that. See where the action here is. Looks like everyone's kind of spreading themselves out here. We still got Canapan looks to be gaining on Rocco here. But, you know, after that dirty move, we'll have to see how clean of a move he can make here. Let's go to Hacker here, trying to make his way up into first place after starting at the back of the grid. Goes a little bit wide, but I think that should be fine. Into the chicane here. Man, Hacker in that Ferrari is absolutely rapid. But nobody has been able to touch our leader, who has an 8-second gap. Pedro Marzan in the Puerto Rico E-Racing Club Porsche. A really nice white, gold, and black livery there. I really like that. We don't have custom liveries for this race, but I do really enjoy that very simple livery for that car. Has an absolutely commanding lead. Gap is down to 4 seconds, but I would imagine that's just everything kind of evening itself out. Going into the straights, when they're both in the straights, Martin still has a 7.7 second league. Ultrat, greetings, Ultrat. Showing the gaps. You know, I'd love to figure out the gaps here. Timetable, that is, I guess that is kind of the gap. Looks like there is a 6-second gap, at least through the last sector, between Martin and Hacker. See as we go into this next one what they are doing. We've got some close racing there between Racine and Kersetter. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that, make sure we can catch it. Looks like Kersetter's actually already made the move. And he indeed has made the move on Racine. We also have some racing between Canapan and Rocco here. Looks like he's made the move. Press I. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the assist on that. So we got 4 penalties. Looks like a 5-second penalty for Colin there. I know he originally had a drive-through. Looks like that was turned down. quite a bit of damage I've heard from on some of these cars. Let's go to some of our closer gaps here. Canapan is really gaining on Rocco. He must be pretty fast, just had maybe a bad start, maybe got into a bit of a wreck at the beginning parts of the race. Kersetter trying to pull ahead of Racine there, but hasn't really been able to maybe pull ahead as much as he'd want, but into that chicane, out of the chicane into the well, actually that's into the start-finish straight. Out of the hairpin, looks to be doing fairly well in that Ferrari. Ferrari's looking very powerful today. Ferraris of Hacker and Kersetter. Meanwhile, we've got Martin still in the lead, 13 laps in, almost to the 30-minute point of the race. 1 hour and 33 minutes to go. I would imagine here within the next, like I said, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, we're going to be seeing some of these cars come in for a pit stop. And be interested to see if anyone's going to try to repair the damage that they have gotten in this first stint of the race. Looking at Hacker here, still setting the fastest laps of the race. Fastest lap is still his 1 minute 58.497. Absolutely rapid grid today. These guys that are racing in the front, I would not be able to hold a candle if I was racing. Hacker just gained a second, it seems like, through that last sector. Now under 5 seconds from Martin. And Martin still has not been able to answer back to Hacker's best lap. But he is still lapping consistently within the 159s. Looks to be a little bit of a close pack back here with Collins in that Bentley. Got a 2-second gap, but it looks to be that they're closing in. Haven't really given Collins any love. Haven't seen that Bentley. That looks like Sprite green. It almost looks like Bentley. Metallic. Collins really running an uneventful race. Looks like he's staying clean and, you know, just lapping as consistently as he can. Take a look at some of the other drivers here. Take a look at some of the other drivers. We've got Bellinger here. Still in the back of the pack here, but he's really doing the best he can. Looks like he had maybe a little bit of an incident the last lap with a 2 minute 14 second. Definitely had some sort of incident there. But he and Luis here hopefully are able to catch up. Thanks for joining. Looks like we got quite a good crowd in the chat here. I am monitoring, so if you do have any questions, just let me know. And always looking for words of wisdom to help me get used to this new role as the broadcaster for Zealous. Oh, whoa. Okay, that looked to be a bit of a lag issue. Cologne looked like he was going into the wall there and then veers right back onto track. Definitely a connection issue there. Looked like he was going to be sent into the barrier. Wouldn't want that. Let's take a look at Collins here. Looks like we're having some close racing between him and Canapan in that Lamborghini. Canapan looking pretty good in the Lamborghini today. Oh, Canapan goes a little bit wide, though, into the last hairpin before the start-finish straight there. Over under on Taz, catching Martz. Indeed he is catching Martz, and he is now up to a 3.3 second gap. I think we're going to want to watch this, but such a good battle between Collins and Canapan. We'll see if we can catch this overtake before switching over to Hacker. If the overtake will happen, let's see if there's a good battle between these two. This is really where the action is right at the moment. Out of Maggot and Beckett's. Down this back straight. Canapan has the slipstream going into the back straight here, but I know Canapan has a little bit of damage on that Lamborghini. It's going to hurt his top line speed. Maybe a little bit of grip goes inside. Collins pretty much seems to concede the place to him. Maybe it's to get a little bit of better run, but he does go wide out of the turn and concedes that to Canapan going into the chicane. Almost a done deal now. Collins hits a little bit of that sausage curb there. Not going to help out the run into the F1 start-finish line there. Also got a bit of a close battle here between McCroat and Burr. Burr maintaining about a 2 to 3 second gap between him. All right, now for the moment we've been waiting for. Let's move up to Martson, our leader, and see how he is doing. Looking at the broadcast, you can see there Hacker is closing in rapidly. I would imagine maybe within the next 1 to 2 laps, you know, if Hacker has some really good sectors here. Looks like Hacker is really making his time in Sector 2. That's where he appears to be doing better. But across the board, if we look at the fastest laps, it is Sector 1 that gets Felix his fastest lap there. All right, out of the chicane into the F1 start-finish straight into Chapel. Getting a little bit wide so you can get as much speed into that as possible. Flat out into the arena section. Looks like Hacker gained about 3/10 that last sector. Now here he goes out of arena. There's so many straights on this track, I need to make sure I can memorize these at the beginning. And actually try to maybe get some notes up here to be able to let you guys know what each of these are. Hacker didn't seem to gain much time in that last sector, but we'll have to see how it goes after the start-finish straight. Gain about a 10th into Cops. Hacker is maybe not noticeably closer, but he is getting closer into the lead there. Now that we're in this kind of lull in the race, we do have the pack kind of spreading themselves out. Spreading themselves out like Marmite and toast. I've never even had that. Don't know why I made that reference, but I'm gonna go with it. Actually, in that last little sector there, looks like Martin was able to gain about 4/10 on Hacker. Continue monitoring this. I might be taking a quick break here to get some more water, but I'll leave you here watching the lead. Hopefully I don't miss this this overtake if it happens soon. We're gonna want to be watching that track map as we go into the next 10 minutes, as I believe some drivers are going to be trying to take their pit stop. I would imagine at this point in the race, a lot of these drivers who have really been pushing hard, their tires are going to be fairly worn at this point. I would think in the next 5 minutes or so, these tires are, you know, if they aren't already, they're going to start dropping off. Hacker seems to have gotten back that time that he lost in that previous sector. Looks like I missed the move, Canapan on Collins. Canapan now in P8. Got a 4-second gap to Collins now. Quite a good gap there. It's going to be, I think, a great battle between these two. Welcome, welcome, Huff. Welcome to the chat. Hacker now almost within 2 seconds of Martin. I know for a fact he's going to want to pass him before he does his pit stop. And I would think Martin and his teammate of Puerto Rico e-racing club, I would assume that they would want to try to do maybe pitting a little bit early. Maybe pitting a little bit early to make sure that they have the fresher tires. And maybe those fresher tires, if they pit early, can give them an advantage into the next stint. We'll have to see. Hacker now within 2 seconds. 2 seconds of now within 2 seconds of Martin, our leader. So go into the final hairpin here. I'm not there, so not the fastest. Man, now you can definitely tell, compared to those last laps that we were looking, Hacker is gaining a quite substantial, gap to. He's closing in that gap to Martin. Every single lap, just slowly chipping away at it. He is so much closer than he was even just a few laps ago. I thought it would take maybe a few less laps, but at this point, it's very possible that Hacker's tires could be trying. They could be kind of falling off just a little bit here. He was pushing so hard in those those early laps of the race. And it could be that, he's still got that speed advantage. He's still faster. But I think maybe his tires can't give him the grip, can't give him the speed that he knows he has in that car. Hacker is really closing in, though. Going very brave into that last zone. And you can see him now. He's got to be, he's in a second and a half, less than a second and a half. Incredible, incredible work from Hacker. It's always a little bit of a struggle to race against him because he's just so good. He's so fast. And it's almost frustrating, but you can't help but respect that talent. Definitely has amazing talent. He's doing great in that Ferrari and really gaining on Martin every single lap. He's now 1 second, almost close to 1 second of a gap. Some other people to watch here is JJ Burr in that Audi, closing in on the BMW of McCroat. Let's take a look at them real quick, see how they're doing. Crope seems to be lapping decently. Burr now, and looking at the timetable there, looks like Hacker is now within a second. We need to get on this now so that we can watch this. It's going to be incredible. All right. So they going to go out of the chicane here into the F1 start finish. Out of Abbey into the arena section. Man, Hacker is so close. He's within 6/10 of Martin, our leader. Martin was definitely feeling the pressure here. I know Martin's feeling the pressure here as they go into Brooklands, out into the start finish straight. All right, into Cops. Hacker lost some time there. He's now a second back. Looks like Hacker may have had a little bit of an incident there. I wasn't really watching closely. Oh, Hacker goes wide. Looks like those tires are really failing him now. He's going to lose a lot of time there. He was getting so close, too. He's back to a second, over a second of a gap between him and Martin. Oh, man. That is really too bad right there. While I'm watching this battle for the lead, I forgot to see that McCroat made the move on Racine. Maybe Racine made a bit of an error there. And now JJ Burr is really on the heels. JJ goes a little bit wide into the right-hander there. But they seem to be closing in. That's going to be a spot to watch there. Oh, Luis Colon there with a 15-second penalty now. That is up from the 5 seconds he had earlier. Looking at the splits, the leader of the leaders there, Hacker just gained, he's back up to closer to a second and a 10th. JJ Burr is getting nice and close there, though. JJ Burr of the Apex Campers team. Hacker's now within a second of the leader. With this wonderful battle going on here for 5th, 6th, 7th, or I should say, pardon, 4th, 5th, 6th, and I guess you could say 7th as well. We'll take a look at the leader. And Hacker. Hacker is gaining on that straight. He's within a half a second now. Well, this is getting close. Hacker is getting dangerously close to making a move here. Martin really has to pick up his pace or defend like his life depended on it if he wants to keep that. If he wants to keep that lead. What I would recommend Martin to do here, he definitely needs to keep Hacker behind him as long as possible. If he can make this first set of tires, this first stint go as long as possible, that is just going to make it even better for his team going into the second half. Oh my goodness, Hacker is so much more confident going into the braking of the arena section there into Chapel. As we go to the back village straight there, trying to break that slipstream there. Martson as they go down into Luffen. Ooh, we got somebody off the track there. Looks like the 444 of Bellinger off the track. That could prove a little bit worrisome for these leaders, as he is now covering up that inside line, but Hacker is going to use him kind of as a bit of a slipstream going into Copse here. Some great racing between these two. I think you can see that the Ferrari does not seem to be able to turn in as well. As that Porsche going into Copse there. I think it's definitely maybe a tire advantage for Martson, even though Martson was had an early lead and had quite the lead. I think his tires might be a little bit fresher because he has not needed to push as much as Hacker this race. Hacker goes a little bit wide. It's going to lose him a little bit of time. Martson doing some very great defending here. A good note from somebody in our chat there, Collis, mentioned that the new season, Collis is one of our ZRL, I guess, leaders or admins. Yes, we have a new season of Zealous Racing League that is going to be starting on July 12th. Just in time for the new tracks to be added. We're going to have all 3 of those new American tracks on the schedule. So you know what 3 of them are going to be. It's going to be a shorter season than we usually do, just to be in time for the American Labor Day holiday and give guys a bit of a break. But that is going to be when our next season is. So if you are interested in racing with us next season, be sure to get into our Discord. We have links to the Discord in the YouTube page, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in joining the community, joining the team, and hopefully we look forward to having you on track. Looks like Hacker got a better run out of Copse there into Megan Beckett's. And great line from our leader, Martson. That was an absolutely stellar line through Megan and Beckett's, but it looks like the Ferrari of Hacker was able to get a little bit, stay in touch with Martson in that last little section there. Into the kind of mid-speed right-hander there. Now we've got the chicane of Vale. Oh, incredibly close, these two drivers. Martson blocking Hacker every step of the way. If we look to Burr is also getting close to Racine here, coming down that other straight. But as much as I'd love to watch this, we have to watch our leaders here duke it out for who's going to take P1. Hacker goes a little bit wider, breaks a little bit earlier, maybe hoping to get a little bit better of a run out into the village straight here. Doesn't seem to have paid off for him, as he maintains that 0.3 second gap. 0.3 back, getting close into the braking zones, but a lot better on acceleration, that Porsche. Martson's key here is just to keep that Porsche behind him, or keep that Ferrari behind him as long as he can. Hopefully going into the hour, as we just pass into an hour and 10 minutes left of the first special event, Zealous Racing League Mini ZADuro. Looks like Racine, Burr, and Braun are having a good battle there for P5, 6, and 7. Burr very close. Let's see if we can catch a move. Burr into Copse, has to go wider into it. That's not going to leave him a good exit. Goes very wide, but Burr seems to get out of that just fine. And Braun capitalizes on Racine's mistake there and moves himself up to P6 while Burr takes P5. Moving back up after losing that earlier. Great moves, great moves. Costly for Racine. Hopefully he can make it back here. Racine and the Rise Up Racing crew. Let's take a look at our leaders here as they go into the arena section. Ooh, that is a dirty move. He really sent it in there. Ah, he definitely didn't have it. Ooh, you know, that may be some penalty points again for Hacker. Oh, as he drops back. You know, he did kind of concede it though. He definitely sent it up the inside there. Did not have the space for it. I believe, from what I could see, it looked like Martin definitely had it there. I think all this battling has also allowed the third place Cursetter to gain on these leaders a little bit. Let's move into some different onboard cameras here as we go to Hacker. As he goes through Maggot and Beckett's into the hangar straight. Really gaining in the slipstream. Tries to go up the middle. Not gonna get it. He's gonna try to send it again into the middle of the chicane. Does he make it stick? He does. He really sends it up the middle there. Confident in his brakes. Just ekes his way out. Where's Martin on all this? Let's see if Martin can stick with him. You know, now that Hacker is ahead though, I really think Martin's just got to try to stick with the best he can. I think Hacker would start pulling away though. So we just had a lead change there. Hacker. Taz Hacker moves into the lead with the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. And has demoted our leader for most of the race, or really all of the race up to this point. Oh, we have a car stopped on the track. Skinner into the pits. Had to reset himself. Oh no, what happened right there? Oh man. Looks like he maybe wrecked his car just a little bit. Skinner having to get back on the track now. So now our leader is Hacker with Martin tailing behind. Martin already a second back from our leader. Really, that's all Hacker needed, was to get in front to be able to take the lead and really make it commanding. We've got Cursetter having, you know, after the first beginning part, having quite an uneventful race here in P3. Running quick laps. Best lap being faster than the leaders. And lapping faster than our leader Martin the last lap. We've got Ivan McCroat in that wonderful BMW M4 in P4. I think that may be where McCroat started the race, so good to see him back. Got JJ Burr, actually JJ Burr, who started in P4, tailed closely by the Aston Martin of Braun. Braun P6, within 7/10 of Burr. Racine, after quite an unfortunate move there by Burr and Braun, has been demoted to 7th place after running 2nd for most of the race. I think there was a mistake that really made that happen. We've got Canapan in the Lamborghini in P8 after starting near the back, having quite a I won't say terrible start, but not a great start to the race, but really picking it up here in the end. Has a 10-second penalty though, so you're gonna have to see how that plays out in the end. Got Rocky Rocco of the Rockefeller McLaren team running in P9. Jeff Collins in that Bentley, the big Bentley, in P10. Fender currently running P11. Fender seems to be keeping it nice and clean there and seems to be doing well. I know Fender is one of the racers who is running the race solo. We've got some folks in the pits here. Got some folks in the pits. Flores coming out. Got car 1, 2, 3, Rocky Rocco in the pits, taking their pit stop and going to be doing a driver change, I believe. Like I said, this is where it's going to be getting interesting. These cars are going to be starting to do the pit stops here now that we close in on the hour. Flores seems to be getting close to Collins, although Flores is a lap down. Got Rocky Rocco in their team, still in the pits. Probably doing a driver swap, getting some new tires on that. We'll see how many of these other cars decide to join them in the pits. Doesn't look like anyone's joining just yet. We'll see if that was maybe a little bit premature for the pit stops. Oh, I hear some downshifting. Looks like Kevin Racine is going into the pits. Kevin Racine, who started in P2, demoted to P7, now in the pits, taking his pit stop. Kevin Braun also taking his pit stop. Kevin was in P6. Looks like they're trying to maybe undercut the Audi of JJ Burr. You know, now that I'm really thinking about it, this setup of a 2-hour endurance race really kind of feels a little bit like a F1 race, because those tend to be about 2 hours. And even though we don't have to change compounds of tires in this race, you know, we don't get that kind of strategy. But it's interesting to see, you know, how the drivers are reacting to this. It's very cool. Kierstetter has been making some progress on the gap between him and Martin. Martin, our pole sitter, and now P2 after getting overtaken by our leader Hacker. And looking at that, Martin and Kierstetter now go into the pits pretty much right on the dot with 1 hour left in the race. That leaves Hacker out alone, but Hacker will need to do a pit stop eventually. Hacker is still able to run 1 minute 59 ones, even on the tires that he is currently on. I think maybe that drop off is evened out now, and the tires are just kind of in hurting mode. Fender and Collins, or Braun here, battling. Braun has already taken his pit stop though, so Braun is going to be on much quicker tires as he tries to warm them up. I believe this is Braun's outlap. McCroat and Canapan are now in the pits. It looks like Braun just has a lot more traction in that car. So we've got our pit stops occurring here. McCroat and Canapan in the pits along with Jeff Collins. McCroat currently coming out of the pits. Looks like we are getting a lot of our folks coming into the pits. We got quite a few cars. We've got a driver change for the Lamborghini, swapping Canapan out for Blanton, Cody Blanton. We also had a driver swap for the Puerto Rico E-Racing Club. Out for Pedro. We've got Ricardo Rivera. Let's see how Rivera stacks up in this second half of the race. Looks like they're doing even stops here. The Ascension Racing of McCroat. Looks like now Daniel Gibbs racing in that BMW. Subbing out for Racine, we've got Christian Landry on the Rise Up McLaren. Rockefeller is still staying with the McLaren. Jared Skinner behind him. We've got Blanger and Burr in the pits. Burr is going to be handing the car over. Hacker, I don't believe is pit yet either. And Hacker is still setting fast laps. A 1 minute 59.2 on the last lap. 420 car of Gibbs. Burr subs out for Nunez. And they come out in, looks like P6. How close does that put them to Landry? Still got quite a gap to Landry. Blanton, though, rapid here in this fight against the Rise Up McLaren. Goes a little wider, hoping to get a better run, and he does. Much more speed. Oh, what's happening there for Landry? Looks like he just gave it up, maybe a little bit of blocking he thought, so he thought, man, better not to get in trouble and just continue to charge on. That is true, Taz will have to serve, but I don't know, do they, are they, I don't think that is a stop-go penalty. So that penalty is going to be added, I believe, at the end of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe not. Maybe I am mistaken. I don't know. Hacker is now... Yep, he did serve that penalty. Now he's got to pass not only the leader, but he also has to pass Kierstetter in the other Ferrari in P2 now. Looks like that pit stop strategy has turned out well for Kierstetter and for Rivera and the Puerto Rico E-Racing Club. Let's go into the hangar straight. We've got a second and 4/10 gap between these three leaders. 1, 2, 3. And another note, Hacker is also not the driver of that car anymore. It is now Blaine Hall in that Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. I wonder if he is just as fast as Hacker there. We'll have to see. Maybe this will lead to some better racing this second half. "53 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this 2-hour event at Silverstone. Looks like we have two drivers that have quit out of the race too, which is too bad. Who seems to have cut out here? Still got the Lamborghini. We still got all four of our... Still got all four Kierstetter making gains on the Porsche of Rivera. Hall doesn't seem to be able to answer. Let's go up here and see this. Kierstetter might just be able to pull ahead here, but we did lose two drivers. Trying to see who they may have been. Collins. Oh man, I'm not sure. We still have Rocco and Skinner. Let's go through our list here. Scusa-Palooza. Christopher Flores there in the Scusa-Palooza Audi. That's a great name. Great name, Flores. I love that. Looks like Kierstetter has taken the lead, though, from Rivera. Can Rivera answer? Wish I would have been able to catch that, but it looks like Hall is pulling back. Nunez in the pits. Looks like he has not pit yet. Wait, that's the Nunez. That is the Apex Campers team. Wonder if there's an issue with their car. Maybe they messed up pressures. Maybe they messed up fuel. They were running in P5, I believe. That is really too bad to see the Apex Campers team back. They were one of the teams that maybe disconnected. Oh, maybe they had a disconnection issue to the server. That would be... Oh, that would be absolutely tragic. That'd be very, very unfortunate for the Apex Campers team, who was having such a great race before. So you can see our leader now, Ed Kierstetter, in the Ferrari. Really trying to gain as much of a lead as he can. Now that he has it. Oh, I just got word that Nunez disconnected. Ah. That is really too bad. They were running such a good race too. I hope they do decide to continue to move forward with the race. And it looks like they are. Wow, just great sports there. You know, a lot of people, you know, in that situation, they might just give up. They might just quit, you know. But they are really, they're going to keep on going. You know, they've practiced. They're doing the best that they can. And you know what? Even though they have a little bit of a setback here, maybe they can get at least one spot back. Who knows? And you know, that might just be worth it. as we look here, as the battle between Braun and Blanton. Actually, it's Braun and Gibbs. Braun has taken 4th place from Gibbs from the M4. But Gibbs seems to be holding on. Let's see if he can respond and stick with Braun here. Braun continuing to build that gap. And it looks like Hall in that Ferrari that took over for Hacker is setting some fast laps here, but the fastest lap for Kerstetter was his last lap, so Kerstetter's really putting out some great laps here. Meanwhile, Rivera holding on as well. Moving into the last 48 minutes of this race, I think this is going to be a perfect time for me to take about a 10-minute break as we get into maybe 10 to 18-minute break as we go into the last maybe last 30 minutes of the race. I'll be back. But my water has run out, so I am going to go take that quick break. I've been commentating this whole race so far, and I'll be back with the last little part of this race, and then to give you news on what's to come from Zealous Racing League. Already mentioned it a little bit already this stream, but I'll give another mention to it when I get back. So sit back, enjoy the driving. I'll set it at the leader so you guys can watch Kerstetter as he hopes to gain on Rivera. And I will be back shortly. Stay tuned for more. And we are back. Had a wonderful little break there, getting some more water and watching some more of the racing. As you can see, I was still behind the scenes doing a little bit of movements there, watching some of the battles. Kersetter getting a commanding lead over P2 and 3. Hall was getting close there for a second on Rivera. Had a little bit of an incident going down into the arena section. It's cost him a bit of time, and now we are watching this wonderful battle here between the Aston Martin of Braun and the Lamborghini of the Twitch.tv Crow team, which Cody Blanton is currently driving. They're getting awfully close, and close behind them is the BMW of Gibbs. Looks on the inside, comes back in. Tries to get a wider line so he can get more speed. Going into the start-finish straight here. Braun's able to hold him off, but Blanton is gaining into Copse. He's still staying pretty even. Just a bunch of excellent battles going on in today's race for the size of pack and for the length of the race. We're getting these great pockets of action between the racers, even though there's quite a big distance between P4 and P3. The racing here is just as good as it has been at the front. We've had multiple lead changes. This is just an absolutely fantastic event so far. Wonderful racing, great work from all the drivers so far. It's just amazing to see the teams working so well. Into the Abbey corner there, fast. Blanton carries a little bit more speed. Braun has to go a little bit more wide. Blanton's on the inside. Breaks a little bit early, though. I think he maybe could have stayed a little bit longer. Blanton tries to get a wide line going up the straight here. Don't think that's going to pay off, but it looks like he's got a little bit more speed on that exit. And he does. Quite substantially more speed going down the village straight here. And he gets it on the inside, taking P4 from Braun. A wonderful move there from Blanton. Great clean racing between those two. See if Blanton can expand that lead, expand that gap. And now Braun's going to have to worry about Gibbs in his rear view mirror. Gibbs was about a second back, now only 0.3. Great move by Blanton. Great driving from that Lamborghini team, starting near the back of the grid and now up to P4. Going to be quite a task if they want to get all the way up to P3, but I think they'll be happy with that result considering. Braun able to hold the lead from Gibbs. Let's take a look at Kevin Braun here. Holding in the middle there between the Lamborghini and the BMW. So they go into the chicane. Seems like things are going well. Another move to note there, we had Skinner in the Rockefeller Racing Lexus take P8 from Laundrie in the, I believe, the Rise Up McLaren, which moves Laundrie to P9, Skinner up to P8. Let's watch Gibbs as he tries to take P6 from Braun here. 26 minutes and 38 seconds left to go in this 2-hour race at Silverstone. It's been an absolute pleasure so far to be with you guys. If you're interested in learning more about Zealous Racing League, the crew that's putting this on, be sure to join our Discord. Links are in the YouTube on the YouTube page. We are about to start up our Season 8 on July 12th with the new race pack, with the new track pack. So if you're interested in getting into sim racing and getting into league racing in particular, be sure to get into the Discord, see ask some questions, see if it's something you would be interested in trying, and we'd love to help you get racing with us. Zealous Racing League has been going on for 7 seasons now, with many small events in between. And Zealous really prides itself on being a gentleman racing league, a gentleman's racing club. You know, we're here to have fun. There's fast racers, there's medium speed racers, there are, some slower racers, some newer racers. Everyone in between is welcome to join and just work on their racecraft and work on, being in a league that's structured. Zealous Racing League tries to provide the best racing we can for free for people who are interested. We don't ask a lot in return. We do have a donation page if you are so inclined to help keep our servers up and running, but we do this all voluntarily to just bring you guys the best racing that we possibly can. So thank you for joining us here today again. I think that might be like the 3rd time I've said it, but I really from the rest of the Zealous Racing crew and myself, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of this community. And please feel free to share with your friends and with your family. Have people watch, if they're interested in motorsport. We'd love to just get more people involved and, sharing our love of motorsport with all those that we meet. So this battle between Braun and Gibbs seems like neither can really make an impact or make an impact on the gap or make a move. All right. As I'm talking about this battle here, though, we are going to be wanting to watch Blaine Hall in the Ferrari he took over for Hacker. He is now he was 8/10, now 1 second behind. Hall's trying to make up for the mistake he made earlier. Saw that on stream. He was going into that arena section there and lost a bit of his grip, lost his back end, going in a little bit too hard, it looked like, into the braking zone. Out of Abbey there, that fast braking zone, into a very slow section of the track. Can be really tricky. Hall cutting that very close. Wow, I can't believe he was still in track limits, but I think he may have been. He's really trying his best, and he goes wide. He goes wide out of Copse. I think he's trying to push maybe too hard, maybe getting flustered. I think from some of the deltas and some of the gaps that we're seeing, he has the speed to do it. He is just maybe lacking a little bit of the consistency there. Really too bad to see. Let's hop back over to Gibbs, battling with Braun here on the start-finish straight. Managed to close the gap somewhat, but not enough to really make a move into Copse here. He's really not close enough. But maybe somewhere, if he can hold into the slipstream and really hold on to Braun through Maggot and Beckett's here, maybe he can make a move coming into the straight, or maybe into that right-hander after the straight. Looks like he may have dropped back a little bit. Some small mistake. but he is holding on. Holding on. Fifth. 5/10 back. Braun goes a little wide. It's probably going to cost him just a little bit of time here into the chicane. Every time Hall seems to get closer to that second place spot, just seems to have a little bit of a mishap. Meanwhile, haven't had to mention him recently, but Ed Kierstetter in that Ferrari still maintains the lead. He is 12 seconds, 12 and a half seconds up from P2. Very commanding lead, I would say, with 20 minutes left to go. And unless he makes a big mistake, I think he's going to be all right. Gibbs seemed to have dropped back. That last seems to have dropped back that last sector. Someone we haven't given too much love to is Christopher Flores. He's been very consistent back there in P12 in that Audi. Doing quite well for himself there. Having a lot of fun. We also got Fender, Matt Fender here. Racing by himself, but doing great. P11. Another move that we missed here is Rocky Rocco taking P9 from Landry. This car was once running up at P2. Seems to have dropped all the way back now to P10 after the pit stops. So got Bellinger back there, kind of racing his own race as well. You know, a good thing about races like this too is that even if you're maybe a little bit further back, this is still great experience racing with other people in a structured setup like this. So if you are interested in doing more structured leagues that are definitely more competitive, things like this and things like Zealous Racing League can really help not only be a nice, easy league to maybe relax in if you're a fast racer, but it can be a league to really practice and hone your skills at. For racers who are maybe less experienced. I know for me, I started sim racing just over a year ago now, and Zealous Racing League was the first series, the first league that I was able to be involved in. And I remember being incredibly intimidated by it, and I had some good friends help walk me through it. I was racing with a team, and really just helped to make the process a lot easier. And really, Zealous made the process a lot easier too, being very clear and concise, being very, structured. Just helped me to really understand how leagues are run, but also know that at the end of the day, this is just for fun. This is for us to practice. This is for us to learn. We still want to win. We still want to get those bragging rights, but at the end of the day, we're there. We're having fun. We're racing. Yeah, on Landry there, but Bellinger is lapped at the moment. Let's move up to some of the battles we are having here. Let's go up to maybe give the Bentley a little bit of love as well. Haven't given the Bentley too much love. Collins running in that Bentley has been very consistent all night. Very consistent in that Bentley. Doesn't seem to have gotten into any major scraps, but just keeping that car going. Getting a very respectable P7s so far. Let's move up to Gibbs here as he hopes to try to make a move on Braun. They also have Nunez behind them as well, who was running up with them earlier in the race, but due to a disconnect issue, is now running back in the last place. But really excellent to see them sticking it out, him and JJ Burr. Hoping to maybe make it past these guys here so that he can continue to maybe get closer to P7. Or not P7, P13. Wow. Has some like major dyslexia reading those numbers, but no worries, no worries. I mean, one thing to note there too with Nunez is even though he is running in last place, he has almost a whole track to go around to get up to P13. Might not be able to do it, but we'll hope to see him try. Let's move up to our battle between P3 and P2 here, between Hall and Rivera. Before the pit stops, Hall's car was running in P1, but Hecker did get a 10-second penalty for contact, which he did serve in the pits. Put him back into P10. Back into P3, I should say. Ooh, got a back marker there, Bellinger. Making a little bit of trouble there for Hall. That could be what's keeping Hall back from getting Rivera. Rivera maybe getting the better lines through the traffic. See if Hall can make the move back to a second between Rivera. Like I said, every time Paul seems to get close, just isn't able to make the move. One thing we might want to watch here too is the teammates of Jarrett Skinner and Rocky Rocco of the Rockefeller Racing Crew, having a little bit of tussle there for P8. All within good fun. These guys are racing together under the Rockefeller Racing name. Rockefeller, Lexus, and McLaren. Looks to be having a little bit of fun with each other. Great to see these guys. Looks like they have a very similar pace out there today. Good to see them battling it out. Rocco getting nice and close here. See if he can make a move. Oh, Skinner goes a little bit wide into the arena section. Gives Rocco the opportunity to maybe gain a bit of time on the straight here. Let's watch Rocco, see if he can get the run up he wanted, but doesn't seem to be able. Maybe went a little too wide. Fastest lapper on the track is currently our leader, Kerstetter, with a 1:59.3 last lap. With Cody Blanton actually running pretty quick there as well. 1:59.9. Sadly, Blanton might be a little bit too far back to make an impact and getting up into P3. Let's take a look again at this this battle here. We've got 12 minutes 40 seconds left to go in this race. I really think, I think maybe Zealous needs to think about, maybe we need to think about doing a few more of these in the near future. I think, it's maybe a long race, but with the opportunity to do a driver swap and just that opportunity to get a lot of track time, a lot of practice, I think this is turning into some excellent racing. I mean, we've had quite a few lead changes. We've had quite a bit of good battles going on. Looks like Rocco has overtook Skinner for at 8th place. So missed that, but good on Rocco for getting into 8th place against his teammate there. But the racing has been absolutely phenomenal, I feel. A little bit of contact here and there, but penalties have been served for that. And with these long races, if you want to You know, you kind of have to, with the Zealous, you have to really judge whether it is worth it to make some of these moves, because, you know, our team is, we're going to catch some of these. You know, if you're bumping into people too much, causing incidents, you know, you're going to get punished for those. But you also need to sometimes make moves, so it's that risk reward between making the move, or maybe staying a little cautious. You know, sometimes you just have to shoot your shot, and if you miss, you might get penalized hard for it, but sometimes you just have to make that risk. Still got this battle between Gibbs and Braun. It's been opening and closing, and it looks like Nunez is still behind him there. Nunez appears to be making some headway on Bellinger in the 444 car. If Nunez is able to pass that car, he could get into 13th, but there's only 10 minutes left. Not sure if it's going to work out. We're almost about to cross 10 minutes left in the race. Don't want to say it's confirmed yet, but it looks like our current leader, Ed Kerstetter, in the Ferrari 448, appears to be doing great work out there, maintaining a sizable lead, and has been for this whole second stint. Remember, Kerstetter did start at the back of the pack for this race too, so this is quite an impressive charge through the field. I know at the beginning of the race had some trouble getting through the field with Hacker, wasn't able to keep up, but in this second half of the race, after the driver swaps, looks like Kerstetter is really going into his own here and able to make quite an impact. He's now up to a 16.5-second gap to the next driver, Rivera. Speaking of Rivera, we still have that battle between him and Hall. Hall taking over the car for Hacker during the pit stop. Ooh, a little squirrely there, Rivera. Oh, and we have Hall has a spin out of Cops. That's going to give Blanton a bit of a chance, but I still think Blanton might be too far behind. Oh, that is really too bad for Hall. I've said it too many times now. Gets so close and just has a slight incident, and that was bigger than most. That's definitely the biggest incident he's had. Lost complete control of that car, spinning around. Now 11 seconds back, almost 12 seconds back from Rivera with 8 minutes left to go. Don't know if that's going to be enough time for him to get back and make a move. With how consistent Rivera has been, unless Rivera makes a large mistake, I think that is where they're going to stay. Right now, the closest thing we have going on is the battle between Braun and Gibbs. Now look at that. Nunez has made his way in between Braun and Gibbs. Could be the reason why Gibbs is so far back right now in comparison to where he has been. But Nunez trying to make his push up the field. He is 30 seconds back. It's a long time. He's only lapping about 2 seconds to 3 seconds quicker, so that's not going to be enough time for him to take P13, but very, very admirable attempt at moving up the field. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch this race. I feel like Silverstone is just yields itself so well to great great racing with, you know, a lot of Nunez kind of having a little bit of a mess up, maybe locking into that there. Um, Sadly, don't know if it matters too much for the end outcome, but still too bad. As I was saying though, Silverstone yields itself so well to good racing, especially, you know, a lot of good overtake racing, just because the circuit is is quite wide, and there are quite a few areas for overtaking. After the hanger straight there, that kind of mid-speed right-hander, if you get the inside line there, can yield good results. If you're lucky and get the inside line into Cops after the run up into the start-finish straight, also another opportunity, although a little bit tougher. Coming into the arena section, that hard braking zone into the slow section of the circuit is another great time, and even into the hairpins after the village straight there can be a good opportunity for some overtakes. So a lot of opportunities at this track, a lot of opportunities for, you know, for maybe different lines into different corners. Um, Opportunities for great racing, and like I said, we're seeing that here today. Gibbs is making an impact on that gap. He's closing in. But we've seen before that he's not as strong out of this slow section here. As you can see, the Aston Martin pulling away just ever so slightly. We've got almost 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left in this race. We started almost 2 hours ago. And after technical difficulties and me not knowing how to operate our streaming gear, we are finally getting close to the end of this race. We've had some incredible battles between Kierstetter, the Puerto Rico racing team, Hall, and Hacker, and many, many more. It's been an absolutely great spectacle of motorsport. And the great thing about it is that we're all able to do this, you know, just us average guys, gals, all of us, we're able to do it at home. You know, I think that's the great thing about sim racing. Racing can be such a daunting sport to get into, but we're able to come out here, show what we've got against real people, against friends, against rivals, against maybe strangers, but we're here. We all love racing, and we're having a good time out here. Let's take a look at our leader, Kierstetter, as we come into the final laps. Kierstetter's got that Bentley of Collins behind him. But as we go into these final few laps, we'll just follow Kierstetter. He's probably got this lap and one more to do. And that will be the end of the race. As time winds down. Just watch as Kierstetter hopefully is able to maintain this lead. We'll watch him as he gets to the start-finish straight. Maybe turn it over to Gibbs and Braun. They're still battling. Seems like they've been battling for almost 30 minutes now. Very, very close racing. Every time Braun thinks he can get away, Gibbs is right on his tail again. A fine display but from Kierstetter there. Let's take a look at Braun and Gibbs. Gibbs is still a little bit further back. As they go into the final lap, I believe this is the white flag. 1 lap to go. With a minute left on the clock, we've already had our leader pass the start finish, so when he crosses the finish line, that will be it. Looks like Braun is gaining a little bit of a little bit of breathing room. They're going to have 1 more lap of racing though, so this really could come down to the last turn. Gibbs isn't able to hold on this lap, but who knows if Braun makes a mistake. It's anyone's game. As we've seen, it's been an accordion here. Gibbs has gotten close, gotten further away, gotten close, gotten further away, and it's been back and forth between these two. Kierstetter is coming into the slow section here of the arena on the last lap of the race. And here we are, 0 seconds left at Silverstone after 2 hours of racing. Battles right down to the last second. Last lap. Braun is able to extend his gap from Gibbs in the BMW. Nunez right behind him. Even though he's a lapped car, he's still trying to have a good time racing with these guys. And as he comes across the start-finish, we have Kierstetter in the lead with the win after 60 laps of racing. Kierstetter is P1. We've got Collins locking in a 7th place. Rivera passing Rocco, lap driver. As Rivera, after the car ran in first for most of the race, crosses in 2nd place. Blaine Hall and his teammate Hacker coming in at P3 after a really great show of performance there. Great job, guys. Rocco coming in at P8. Flores securing that P12. Blanton coming along the hairpin section here. Going to be taking the P4 home after coming out back from the back of the pack. Great show in that Lamborghini. And the battle that we've been watching for so long, Kevin Braun in the Aston Martin will take home P5 with Gibbs close behind in the BMW taking P6. Fender the last to cross the finish line here as he goes back, crossing in P11. Well, everyone, that has been 2 hours of the Mini ZADuro brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim, and it has been an absolute honor to be the broadcaster and the commentator for this race. Great show of performance from all of our drivers. Clean racing for the most part, and just a lot of good battles throughout the last 2 hours. Great strategy at a great track with great weather. Take a look at Kierstetter, our leader, our winner here with the first place. Did not set the fastest lap though. That goes to the team, the 27 team of Blaine Hall, and Hacker with a I believe a 1 minute 58 seconds. What a fabulous race. Like I said, my name has been Shim. It's been an honor to be the broadcaster for today's race. As everyone tunes out and is starting to leave the chat here, I just want to say one more time, thanks for joining us. And if you are interested in racing with Zealous Racing League in the future, come into our Discord if you're not already. Um, we are starting up a new season, Season 8 of the Zealous Racing League Sprint Series. Well, Sprint, I should say, quote unquote. With the new track pack, we're going to be running all 4 new tracks, and we're going to be running, I believe, a 7-week season of racing with Zealous Racing League starting on July 12th. July 12th is going to be the start of that league. So that is going to be starting up here soon. If you're interested in getting involved with that, some great racing, some great community. Please join our Discord. Links in the YouTube on the YouTube page, so you can find them there. Um, Congratulations to our winner, Kerstetter, our second place, Rivera, and the Puerto Rico E-Racing team, and last but not least, the P3 last podium slot, Blaine Hall and Hacker coming in for third. That's all I have today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Um, and join us next time when we start Season 8 of Zealous Racing League, the ZAD Galaxy Tour. Have a good night, everyone, and stay safe. Peace.
Howdy.
Oba.